I'm already seeing my 6-year-old son pass me tobacco in a Rizla and say, "Dad, go and have a cigarette." Here's all the motivation I could ever need.
You happy? Yeah. I had a cigarette. I feel like I've let myself down.
I was smoking when I was abroad.
Finally gonna put these in the bin.
It's tempting, but I'm not gonna do it.
Perfect time to have a cigarette? Nah, I'm not interested at all. I bought this little thing for my hand, keeping everything busy.
Hypnotherapy session was what I needed it to be, I think.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Rakesh.
My name's James.
I've got 2 beautiful daughters.
I have 2 children, both boys.
I've got 2 children.
And I've been smoking for roughly about 34 years.
19 years now.
13 years.
I started smoking around the tender age of 14, 15.
I was 16.
When I was 13 years old.
Just over 10 a day on average.
Working out for about 20 a day.
Around 20 cigarettes a day.
I don't feel like I need a cigarette right this moment, but that's probably because I had 2 before I came in here.
I've literally just had one before I got pulled down, so.
I had one about 20 minutes ago, so not at the minute.
I started smoking through a friend of mine that I used to knock about with when we were kids. My mum smoked as I was growing up, so I'd be pinching cigarettes out of her box, and that's when I knew that the addiction was definitely kicking in.
I think I started smoking because I was around my family and my cousins who were all smokers, so it just made me feel a little bit more adult in my teenage years.
I started smoking just by hanging around with the older lads who was smoking, and I got dragged straight into it.
And what is your main motivation for stopping?
Well, my motivation is I've got my partner upstairs and we're looking at getting married. And she's told me that we can't get married unless I stop smoking. She wants to set this date as much as I do, but she's sticking to her guns and she's hard not to crack.
My son is only very recently born and he's a huge inspiration. Every time I have a cigarette now, I'm already having to adjust my behaviour to come home and wash my hands, brush my teeth before going near him.
I have seen my health go on a bit of a decline to the point where I struggle sleeping at night, and the doctors have said it is to do with smoking. I do feel a bit ashamed.
What does the thought of a cigarette make you feel?
Mad as it might sound, I enjoy my first one in the morning. And after that, then I hate them. I hate them all day.
The poison, the addiction, the grip and the grasp it has, I would definitely say it's a love-hate relationship with tobacco.
I do feel a bit disgusting after a cigarette, but at the same time, my brain tells me that it's relieving me from stress. I feel like I need it.
And how do your kids feel about your smoking?
They hate it. I have to hide from them.
Oh, I watched my father smoke and it definitely opened the doorway for me to want to pick up a cigarette, and I think the first cigarette I ever smoked was nicked out of his box. I'm already seeing my 6-year-old son at times pass me tobacco in a Rizla and say, "Dad, go and have a cigarette." I don't want him to believe that that's the answer to challenges.
I'm worried that they are going to lead in the same path with smoking because they'll think it's cool. They'll want to do what Dad's doing. If I can do anything to save their health, then I'll do it.
I mean, you know, I want to be healthy and we all want to be here for as long as we can. And, you know, and for where the kids are concerned, then, you know, I want to be walking them down the aisle when they get to that age. So hopefully I'll still be here for that.
They tell me if I smell of it. And when I can't swim with them or play games with them because I'm out of breath or I finish early to go for a cigarette, they do moan at me. So it does impact them as well. Because I'm not so much of a fun dad because I'm just giving up too easily.
And how do you feel about the challenge of giving up?
I want to use the fact that I'm part of a program like this to use it to be very conscious of the fact that I'm on this journey, that I'm creating a sense of accountability.
I do want it, and that's the main thing. I don't think you can really stop smoking unless you really want to.
I've always felt the last hurdle. But I think this time now, this is going to be the one where it's going to work. It's going to go forward.
I'm confident that with enough willpower and motivation that I can finally tackle this demon. It's the afternoon of day 1. I'm wearing my patch.
I've not had a ciggy since 7 o'clock this morning. So I put this patch on, here as you can see.
I'll be honest, I've had a few close calls where I've really struggled.
It's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Normally I get up, go outside, have a cigarette, So I've been keeping myself busy. I'm currently in my little man cave / studio making some music.
Bit irritated and a bit quiet, so she's been saying. I think it's because I'm used to having a ciggy. It's like it's still in your mind.
Currently just stood outside watching my son on the park. Perfect time to have a cigarette, of course, but nah, I'm not interested at all.
I had a cigarette. I feel like I've let myself down.
I was smoking when I was abroad. I did give in to temptation.
No kissing ashtrays, because that's sometimes what it...
He's the best looking ashtray you've ever kissed.
The hypnotherapy session was what I needed it to be, I think. I'm on the inhalator, I'm on the patch.
I won't go back to cigarettes now. I'm sick of it. Horrible. It smells horrible. It tastes horrible.
It's been blood, sweat and tears along the way, to be fair.
Really trying to cut this out is becoming difficult.
Daddy is no longer a smoker. I've stopped smoking.
Unfortunately, I haven't yet stopped completely.
I am no longer a smoker.
I'd say I'm currently smoking about 5 or 6 cigarettes a day now.
None at all. Zero.
None. No cigarettes.
It's been a roller coaster. To look back now and look, I was smoking that many ciggies then, it's hard hitting.
I don't feel the need to pick up a cigarette at all anymore.
I did the best I could. I've actually bought more stop smoking products and using the toolkits that are there to eventually become a non-smoker.
My fatigue, clammy skin, it just doesn't feel like it should.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? Considering that someone's just said to me that my skin looks really good, that just tells you everything you need to know, really. I do genuinely feel better.
When you have a cigarette, you know, it doesn't give you any energy to get up and do things. The nicotine patches are the ones that really work for me, I found. You know, the 25 milligram ones, you just put it on and leave it on and it does its job.
The reason I like the inhalator is because it mimics the idea of smoking enough that I wouldn't need to have a real cigarette.
I'm not out of breath anymore, I'm not wheezing, I'm not coughing, I'm eating better, my sleep pattern's improved. Someone who's smoked for 34 years and then making that transformation, it's taken a lot of getting used to.
I am worried that they are going to lead in the same path with smoking because they'll think it's cool. They'll want to do what Dad's doing. So that is a massive reason I'd like to quit.
Do you think your kids are proud of you for doing this?
My 6-year-old brought it up when I was on holiday and he asked me why I'm not smoking anymore. So I explained to him and he said he's proud of me.
How did that feel?
Amazing. Amazing.
I'm very fearful that he's going to grow up thinking that that's what he needs to do. And I think he would enjoy the fact that I would be more available to him. That's the thing that deep down I'm the saddest about. I would like to be a more present father. I think watching that clip back on repeat would be a massive motivator.
Do you check my pockets, you know? You come and check your pockets when I come in. Still do. You got ciggies, you got sick. They'd be overjoyed. They will be made up. I will be the biggest hero. It's just that moment with that, when I said Daddy's a non-smoker and the faces just lit up. It was unbelievable.
I can't swim with them. I can for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and then I'm tired. I think I was in the pool longer than they was. I feel like a better dad, which in my head is amazing. I'm always telling them to get up and play with me now.
I'm confident that with enough willpower and motivation that I can finally tackle this demon. I think I was very naively optimistic coming into this. There's been 19 years of ingrained habitual behavior and addiction. As a young father, you carry so many weight, so many pressures. Having a cigarette is just one thing that maybe releases some of the pressure that dads take on. Actually, the more I've reflected over my history, I'm aware how many fallacies I'm telling myself and how many things I'm telling myself to justify smoking.
I wonder when the days are the days you're gonna, I might start coughing up blood, and that's a worry. That's a constant worry. And to be able to beat, you know, an addiction it's a hard habit to crack. I'm feeling more alive. I feel I've got my life back. What's not to like about that?
I'm hoping in stressful situations, especially where that's the most times I'll pick up a cigarette. I feel like my routine's changed a little bit more. I can just deal with a stressful situation as anyone else would, maybe by talking or going for a walk, something like that.
We're looking at getting married, and she's told me that we can't get married unless I stop smoking. She wants to set this date as much as I do, but she's sticking to her guns and she's hard not to crack.
So she's agreed to get the date in now?
Yeah, she's agreed, yeah. Well, she will be doing later.
I'll constantly make little changes that the cigarette disappears and the inhalator stays until this has gone completely and I can say I'm a non-smoker.